on E.Ileogben Talk. I'm your host, Barrister Mrs. Esther E.Ileogben, on this podcast. Here on this podcast, we try as much as possible to dissect a lot of topical issues as they affect us in our day-to-day lifestyle. We talk about marital issues, we talk about relationship, dating, Christian courtship, and of course, parenting ethics. That is very, very imperative in this dispensation. Today, I will still be talking on a topic on parenting tips. And here with me, I have a friend, a sister, and a very gracious woman of God, Reverend Mrs. Miracle Igho. She's the presiding pastor of Joyful Family House International Ministry. Good to have you, Mama. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today. So, as you have heard, here on E.Ileogben Talk, we try as much as possible to dissect a lot of issues that they affect us in our day-to-day lives, how we can be better, and how we can really practicalize our Bible tenets and become better off. Just as you know, it is the practicability of God's words that really help us to achieve the desired benefits and, of course, bring God's glory into our midst, into our home, our businesses, our marriages, and every other thing. Today, there's a question that is posed before us, and it has to also do with parenting. As the convener of Youth of Wonders Worldwide Initiative, most times when I go to school, I am being confronted by a lot of, questions from these young ones that their parents don't really teach them on. And one of the questions is that a child asked me, said, at what age should we as teenagers start having sex? What's your take on this?
In fact, this type of question should not even arise. If that child is a child of God, if the parents are Christians, I believe a child that should ask such a question is a child that does not go to church, a child that does not know Jesus, or the parents have not had an encounter with Jesus. If not, all things being equal, parents are supposed to teach children things like that. When and what time things like that should be done, because the Bible says that there is time for everything. A teenager should not be asking such questions if the parents are up and doing, if the parents are actually doing their job, because the truth remains that the responsibility to teach children lie on the parents.
Yes, but ma'am, you find out that in this dispensation, just like I said earlier on, parents are they are so busy to the extent that they rarely have time for these children. And their parenting responsibilities are basically relegated to the background, which leave these children or these teenagers to get involved in peer pressure, influence, and they hear a lot of things. So how will you itemize what are the reasons why they should not channel their mind to that? And if at all they need to get involved in sex, what is the appropriate time?
Like I said earlier, the responsibility to train the child rests on the parents. It is true that children go to school, they can be taught in school, they go to church, they can be taught, but the home remains the foundation. It remains the place where foundation must be laid. So if anything is wrong with any child, if any child goes, the way of Satan, for me, I will first and foremost blame the parents, because even God in Genesis chapter 18 said, I know Abraham. Abraham is a man I can rely on.
Yes.
He's a man I can depend on. Why? Because he knows he will teach his children.
So, ma'am, talking about this, what would you have to say to these young ones, aside now their parents having erroneous mindset and responsibilities relegated to the background, that the parents are not addressing this? What's your take on these young ones about this mentality about having sex? Can you throw more light on that? Is it right for them to have sex? At what time should they have sex? Just let us.
Children should not have sex until, going by the scriptures.
Okay.
The only time a person is permitted to have sex is in marriage.
Okay.
So children should not even think about sex until their parents, if it's a girl, your parents hand you over to your husband. That is when the issue of sex should come up. But unfortunately, because parents have not taken responsibility, they are left with television, Facebook, and others that does not even know their left from their right. So children are learning from them. Even some of them are learning from their teacher that is supposed to be.
Not just from their teachers, they learn from their peers, they learn from social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, and this erroneous trend that is just going on. And you know, there's a bad philosophy that is really going on now, and it's coming up from the bottom pit of hell. And what is this erroneous trend? It's really brainwashing these young ones that they don't even have to keep their virginity, they don't even have to keep themselves into marriage. So we have to be very careful as parents of this dispensation to really, what I usually say is use every moment to be a teachable moment to your child and be a good example to your child. Teach them sex education. That's what I really admonish. And as low as 18 months, let us try as much as possible as parents to teach them sex education with their age understanding level. Get to teach them in that level where their age can carry them. I call it age appropriation in teaching them sex education. Basically, you let them know their private parts, you let them know their public parts, and you always tell them this part that is your private part, nobody should touch it until you get married. This one that is your public part, yes, they can touch it, but you also have to tell them who needs to touch it. Ma'am, what I also find in this dispensation is that everything on TV, on social media, on magazine, radio, everything about life in this dispensation is basically sexualized. So we have to be very careful. So, ma'am, thank you so very much. Okay, you want to say something? Okay.
Because children are exposed to all these things. Yes. I see go back to parents. The little time you have with them, make sure that they know the Lord.
Yes.
Know that they have met Jesus. Make sure that your child has accepted Jesus, because many of them pretend.
Yes, they don't know what
they pretend in your presence.
Yes.
So when they go out, they just listen to others. But when a child knows who she is, understands what Jesus has done for him or her on the cross, he will represent him outside there, even when the parents are not there. But when a child does not know, when he goes out, it's very, very, very possible that that child will be influenced by negative people around him.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. That was a very good contribution on this topic. What I usually say to parents and to all custodians or handlers of children and young adults, please let us be very intentional, let us be deliberate, and let us be purposeful. Purpose-driven parenting in this dispensation is a yes. Every other thing is a no. Let us try as much as possible to teach them sex education. If they learn from us, they know it's the right way. But if they learn it from their peers, social media and all that, they learn it the negative way. And of course, it's going to pose negative repercussions. So with this, I'd like to sign off here. I want to say thank you to all those that have been commenting, that have been liking and sharing, and of course subscribing. Until I see you next time, be good to yourself. Let us be very intentional in our parenting teams. And for me, I say bye-bye. And for you, ma'am?
God bless you.
Okay, thank you very much. See ya.